Hello, it's Angela from Createful Living, and this is my April plan with me for spring 2019. And my theme with spring is inspired by the beautiful magnolia trees and the singing birds and the blossoms that just seem to be everywhere during this heat wave we're experiencing in the UK at the moment. Surrey is just gorgeous with white blossoms and pink blossoms and magnolias, and so I've chosen to take that as my inspiration. I was planning to have these would be magnolias, but they kind of ended up looking a little bit like stargazer lilies, which are my favorites, and I just love the way this turned out. So I drew a big letter A for April, my name starting with the letter A. A is one of my favorite letters, so I wanted to have that stand out, and then have these blossoms, these magnolia flowers, just almost grow like a vine on that letter. And you can see how April's entwined within the letter. And so I'm first lettering over it with my Faber-Castell Artist Pitt pen, and then using some watercolour in magenta, trying to get the inside of each of those blossoms and flowers to be deeper and darker than the outside, and just using more water in the outside and more pigment towards the center of the flowers. You can see they begin to take shape. So I'm just spreading that with a little bit of water, and I'm adding some watercolor from Artistic Isle, which is a white shimmer pearl color. You can't see it too well on the camera, but it does create this shimmery, shiny, sort of metallic kind of sheen, pearly sheen to the watercolor. It's one of my favorite colors from Artistic Isle. I'll link it below. And then I'm just adding some greens for the leaves, and a bright bronze from Artistic Isle again, so that I get that metallic wood effect, sort of a branch of a tree for my letter A. Just adding a bit of gold and drying in between each layer. And now, since I've lost some detailing, I'm just going to go over with a brush pen, making sure my downstrokes are thicker, my upstrokes are thinner, creating a bit of a shadow on the letter on the right, so a thicker line, and then thinner lines throughout just to make them stand up. A little bit of detailing over the flower. Not doing this too carefully, doing it a little messy, so it looks a little bit more drawn rather than like a photo. And that's my title page for April. The little calendar forming at the bottom. Don't you just love that the calendar starts on Monday, being the 1st? Every bullet journal is stream. Just a black stripe along the top with white for the days, using a gel pen. Right. And now we're going on to our monthly spread. I'm actually going to have 2 monthly spreads here. So you'll see I'm drawing 2 mini calendars, one for my events and one for social media posting. This is my personal bullet journal, so those are 2 different things. I'm trying having a separate calendar for my social media, just so I can have a good overview of that. And again, drawing some blossoms and flowers, florals at the bottom, writing the word goals on both calendars, similar drawing, and then just the headings, events and social media, in this kind of flowy lettering, a little bit of flourish, showing up my pencil marks. And now again with the watercolour, using that Artistic Isle pink and mixing it with the Kuretake Gambai watercolour set that I have, using some greens. And I decided to actually create the calendar in this deep sort of sap green kind of colour. Just again making sure it's darker on the outside and then drawing that colour in with water. I'm going to do the same on the other calendar. So dark on the outside and filling it in with more water, less pigment. Decided to paint over the word events and social media in green and just drawing that layer. And now I'm going to go over with the black outline and the brush lettering, all my downstrokes thicker, my upstrokes thinner, outlining my calendar, outlining those little florals. I'm sorry it's slightly off camera, I hadn't realized I'd moved. I love how this page turned out and I can't wait to use it for April. So for every day I'm just using a thicker black artist pen, it's actually a brush pen, and I'm going to write with a gel pen the days, and there you can see I'm just using the gel pen over the black lettering. This is something I love to do, is go over any of that black outline in the drawings or in the lettering very messily with the gel pen, the white pen on top, and it creates this kind of lacy, delicate effect on top of the black, which is one of my favorite things to do. I just think it's very pretty. So we have the April, the calendars, and now we're on to the weekly spread. And last month I started using a task list. I'm going to do the same thing again this month. So you can see the task list being created on the left there, with lines for each task. And the day that I'm matching this to, I found that this worked perfectly. I use my work bullet journal for all my work tasks at home. I don't have that many things, and a lot of the tasks that I do are repeated tasks. So rather than having to write them over or migrate them to different days, having them in running really helps. And then this time I'm creating 3 little tracker mini tasks, so I can look at this idea of grouping different kind of tasks. So I'm going to group together some goals that I have this week, exercise, and I'm trying to think what the last one was. I'll see in a minute. I've got a little calendar, and in that centerpiece I'm just doing again these sketches of these big florals. They look kind of like lotus flowers or magnolias, stargazer lilies, kind of a mix of that kind of impression. They're not exact with the pink. Raising all my pencil markings and just adding the green around the outside, because I really loved that in the previous monthly, the darker around the outside, and just pulling that watercolor in and putting a darker color around the calendar, the mini calendar there, and having the leaves be a brighter, more yellow sappy green, light green, and the magenta pinks for the flowers, just adding extra pigments, putting some of that deeper pink, putting some more greens and yellows into the leaves. And I've decided to go over the heading of each of the little trackers with that magenta as well, written tasks in pink. And then I'm just going to go around with that black, quite a thick line, because I'm going to again use the white gel pen to just bring in some detailing. So I'm using the brush pen. This is my Tombow brush pen, just calligraphy pen, just to write the words task. My big brush pen, Faber-Castell, really messy lines. I haven't done all of them because I wanted to have a more sketchy look. And the white gel pen there, just over the lettering. And you can see now on the right that I've written with that calligraphy pen, exercise, goals, and clean. That's right, the bottom one was for my cleaning goals. So I wanted to put that all together. And that's my page. Hope you've enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon. Bye.